All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to What the Sheet. In today's episode, we are going to be testing out some different impacts. So on the end here, we have my M12 impact from Milwaukee that's brushed with a 3 amp hour battery. This one right here is a 20 volt impact brushed from MasterForce, which you can get at Menards. And right here we have our Metabo HPT brushless impact with a 3 amp hour battery. And then on the end here we have my Milwaukee M18 brushed impact with a 5 amp hour battery. Same kind of rules apply in the last tool kind of challenge video or comparison video what I did with my drills. We're going to be doing 4 of these 2.5 inch T25 construction screws into some 2x material, and then we'll be doing 3 holes with a 1/2 inch drill bit that's impact rated, and we'll just kind of see how each of them do. I'm really curious to see kind of how these two do, just because they were each about $100 a piece in a kit. So each kit was the drill, a battery, 1 battery, a charger, and a bag for the, I'm trying to remember which one came with the bag. The Metabo. The Metabo came with a bag. The MasterForce did not. It was just drill, battery, and a charger. And then I'm trying to think what else goes with these things. So there's 2 other battery sizes for the MasterForce. There is a 5 amp hour and a 7.5 amp hour battery that I can get. And then for the Metabo, so this one's a 3 amp hour. I think they make like a 1.5 amp hour battery or like a 2 amp hour battery. And then there's also, I think, a 5, I think like a 7. And then my flex volt battery that I use in my miter saw will also work on this tool, because they're multi-volt, so it's 36 or 18. So if I put it on this, it'll act as a 4 amp hour battery. And then my Milwaukee, that one's a 5 amp hour battery, and they go all the way up to 12 and all the way down to I think their smallest is a 1.5 amp hour battery for what they sell. And obviously the M18, all the batteries work no differently in their tools. So just like before, we're going to start basically with the smallest and the cheapest. Or actually, these are about the same. So we'll start with this. We'll work our way across, and we'll kind of I'll do what I did in the last one, where I'll put the videos up next to each other. So once I start with each of them, you can kind of see who gets done faster at the end. I have a feeling that this Metabo is going to be the best one, just because it's a brushless, even though it's got a little bit smaller battery than the Milwaukee does. Just the fact that it's a brushless tool, it should, in theory, outperform everything here. But we'll see. This Milwaukee does have quite a bit of power. So I'll get you guys set up, get my drills kind of in position, and then we'll start the test. 3, 2, 1, go. Right, so as you can see here, we'll turn the drills around so you can kind of see everybody. So as you can see, they all did a good job driving them. This third row here was the Metabo, which to me felt like it did a lot better than everybody else, which is kind of to be expected because it is a brushless tool. It definitely felt like it drove the screws in a lot easier, and obviously it drove them a lot deeper than everybody else. So the 12 volt Milwaukee did a pretty good job. No real issues driving them in. Definitely slower than everybody else, but not too bad for a little 12 volt tool, especially a a brush, so the very base model 12-volt tool. So I would assume that if I had like the fuel version of that, that this that would probably be equal to or even better than some of these 20-volt tools. The MasterForce, which I've never handled it ever, did a really good job. I was actually surprised at how powerful that drill was, even with a 2 amp-hour battery on it. And then we already went over the Metabo. Metabo did great. And then the Milwaukee, to me, it felt like it did about the same as the MasterForce, maybe a slightly better, which honestly isn't good for the Milwaukee because this drill costs, well, right now it's probably about the same. But I bet you I could get this drill cheaper, the MasterForce cheaper than the Milwaukee in a bare tool kit. So what I mean by that is drill, battery, charger as a kit is probably going to cost me a good bit more for a brushed Milwaukee than it will for this MasterForce. Right, so we did that test. So now we're going to move on to doing the 1/2 inch drilling a hole, kind of like I did here with the drill drivers. So we'll do the same thing. We'll do 3 holes for each of these drills, and we'll see kind of how they compare with doing something a little bit more taxing on them. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so pretty easy to tell who did the best here. That was the Metabo, which is kind of expected, seeing as it is the only brushless tool that I have in this lineup. But everybody else did a really good job. I think in this test, the Milwaukee did perform a little bit better than the MasterForce, at least it felt so on my end. But that could be, there's a couple factors there. It could be just because the Milwaukee's got a bigger battery than the MasterForce does. But there also could be some other factors, like it could have, more than likely the Milwaukee's got a little bit better motor and electronics inside of it, making it run a little bit better than the MasterForce does. But for the price that you pay for the MasterForce, it definitely did a heck of a good job. And then obviously the brushed Milwaukee 12-volt didn't do nearly as good as everybody else, but it still held up pretty well with doing a 1/2 inch hole. So yeah, that'll conclude this video for today. If you have any comments or questions about any of the tools I'm using or where you can find them, I'll put a link for everything here. And yeah, maybe I'll do a review on these individually later. There's not really a whole much to them, they're just regular impacts. But yeah, so leave a like and a comment, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.